been slumping leading it off. Then it's Ransom and Rizzo with Alfonso Soriano, who usually heats it up around this time of year. Then it's Navarro, Valbuena, Barney, Sapelt, and Julio Borbon in center field hitting ninth. The defense and how they'll line up behind Hector Santiago left to right. Diaza, Cicotte, and Rios in the outfield with Gillespie, Ramirez, Beckham, and Dunn in the infield. Josh Fegley with the nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is Hector Santiago. 3-5 this year, but his ERA is 3.5. Right-handers have had trouble with that screwball, and I think he surprises some people with the kind of fastball he has. And last time out, he was terrific. The umpires for the game tonight. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, is behind the plate. Eric Cooper's at first. Will Little is at second. And Chad Fairchild is at third. So a little bit of a rain delay, but we're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Stevie. Thank you very much. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox Baseball right here over Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for this makeup game. And we've got to win this thing. We are 0-3 against the Cubs this year. And as we told you, the tease, it's been 15 years since we were swept in this Crosstown Classic Series. So here we go. Starlin Castro will lead it off. Castro, a whole bunch of talent, but not having a big year. 233, 4 homers, 26 knocked in. And the first pitch of the ball game from our 25-year-old southpaw is taken for a strike. As Steve mentioned, the Cubs have been playing better baseball. They have been a lot more competitive as that pitch right by him in the count 0-2. 29-minute delay.
And even though the Cubs are subtracting because they're making trades, they're actually getting better.
That's a nice trick if you can pull it off.
It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah. But with the 2 wild cards and the way the parity has come into play in baseball, those opportunities are certainly more available now than they have ever been.
Well, you have to judge what kind of team you have, where you're going, who you want to be part of your past, who should be part of your future. And there's no doubt that Hoyer and Epstein will do it with these Cubs. And the guy going tonight, Matt Garza, right in the center of a whole lot of deals. But the Cubs have announced that they have been talking to him about a contract extension, so that's up in the air.
That's up high. Well, it's amazing how many teams that really don't scout their own organizations enough and evaluate their own talent correctly.
Well, the ones that do, like Atlanta, usually make pretty good trades.
That's one reason they had, at one time, 14 consecutive divisional titles.
Yes.
That was one of the great tandems in the history of baseball. John Schuerholz and Bobby Cox. Bobby, of course, being a former general manager before moving back down onto the bench. But they made some good deals. Yeah, you've alluded to it a lot in the past, that they made you think that their players were, a lot of them were going to Cooperstown, that they were going to trade. That's a little, watch out. Blake, 1 out.
Atlanta's always done it well, and the L.A. Dodgers used to trade you the next great first baseman. They would keep Garvey, but they'd trade you Franklin Stubbs. They'd trade you Mike Marshall. They'd trade you 3 or 4 other guys that Greg Brock they would trade you. But they didn't trade you the great ones.
So here's Cody Ransom. Cody, a 37-year-old veteran. Comes in hitting at .253, 8 homers, 15 knocked in. I think I was listening to the questionnaire there with Mark Gonzalez. I think a real pertinent point that you brought up was the fact that when does a general manager pick up the phone to call, or when does he pick up the phone to answer? That is huge.
Well, that's your leverage.
You pick up the phone call, you lose leverage. There's that screwball. And it takes a lot of patience to just sit there and not make a move when you know you're going to be a seller.
Well, you were a GM. How long do you wait before you risk maybe on a pitcher injury, taking him and making him valueless?
Well, I made it known that I'd never seen a player that couldn't be traded.
I feel the same way for the proper deal.
That's it.
Yeah.
You get the right deal, you can trade any player. I know Sherholtz wanted Harold Baines. And I said, you can have him if you give me the Gubazon, those two young outfielders that you had. He said, you got a deal, but I got to talk with Dick Hauser first. Hauser didn't like the deal, so Sherholtz turned it down. And that's foul back.
I wonder in this day and age, however, how many guys, general managers, will go down and talk to the manager and give him a say-so in a player move.
You know, I don't know. I know it's not as nearly as many as in the past. You've got a lot of sabermetricians out there that they just feel like that they have a Cubs strolling in from the outfield. Game's going to be held up now. Garza and the bullpen guys.
Matt Garza's coming in.
Garza always looks like he's had a bad sausage.
Yes. He was born with a game face.
Yeah.
And Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, trotting in slowly, disrupting the rhythm of Hector Santiago.
And that pitch is popped up. Alex is there for out number 2. I'll bring up Anthony Rizzo. Only hitting .242, 12 homers, but he has knocked in 49 runs. That's one of the things you want to look for in a youngster, just 23 years old. Can he knock in some big runs for you? Who was the guy that we talked about earlier that you mentioned had so many? Was it Kipnis had so many 2-out RBIs?
Yeah, he was a master of that, and he's had just a phenomenal run with Cleveland.
Had something like 44 2-out RBIs. That's amazing. There's a strike. And the count 1-1. And here at the ballpark, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps and 400 straightaway center. Tops that one foul. Cubs hitting at .241 as a club with a 3.86 team ERA. He gone. Nice 1-2-3 inning for Hector, and after having to play. It's their guys nothing, and our guys coming to bat.
Alejandro Diaz leading it off. Then it's Gordon Beckham, who's been red hot. Alex Rios in right field with Adam Dunn at first. Jeff Keppinger, the designated hitter. Connor Gillespie playing third base. Alexei Ramirez at shortstop. Josh Fegley in the 8th spot and catching. And Blake Takoti in center field and hitting 9th. The defense and how they'll line up behind Matt Garza. It's Soriano, Bourbon, and Seppelt in the outfield. Ransom, Castro, Barney, and Rizzo in the infield. Deanna Navarro behind the plate. And our Lexus Restoring Perfection starting pitcher is Matt Garza, on for his 10th start. 4.1 ERA, a little below 3.5. However, since coming back off the disabled list, he's been close to unhittable. Opponents overall hitting .218. His arm has never been in question, even back to his days with Minnesota when he had the best arm in their organization. Had a good overhand curve, fastball in the mid-90s, and he's a guy that is rumored to be going to a lot of different teams and perhaps to increase his value. The Cubs have said that they're talking about an extension, fairly long-term with him. As you can see, his career against our Sox, 2-3, the ERA up there at 4.70. He's a different pitcher, however, these days. He really does have something to pitch for, and that is he's auditioning for 29 other clubs. Maybe he doesn't get that contract extension.
The odds are coming to the plate before we show you our picks to click. You at home select yours. Diaz hitting at 258, 10 homers. He's knocked in 40. Sox hitting at 245 as a club with a 3.98 ERA. And it is a very humid or humid night here at the ballpark.
Well, Matt Garza certainly isn't rushing into anything.
No, he's not.
I know that.
Some of our fans really starting to get on him. Down behind the third base dugout, our dugout. Want to know the count. Diaz has faced Garza 3 times. He's 0 for 3. And that pitch is fouled away. That at 91. Souvenir left side. And that's up high. That one at 95.
Ransom well off the line at third base, but he's in even with the bag.
Turns that one over. Little two-seamer. And the count moves to 3-1.
Well, the best way to give up some runs early in the ball game is walk the leadoff man, and Garza is on the verge of doing that.
So a full count. Ball 4 base hit right here, Alejandro. We're going to start us off right away. That's high in the right center field. Dave Seppelt makes the catch. So 1 down. That'll bring up Beckham.
Nice to see Gordon come back in the lineup. make solid contact to all fields, and be rewarded by being moved from the 8th spot, sometimes the 9th spot, into the 2 spot.
Gordon hitting at .341, a homer. He's driven in 10, and he is 2 for 5 lifetime off Garza. Gap out there in left center as he takes that fastball right there at 93.
Last 13, he's been awfully good, hitting .417, 4 doubles, 7 runs driven in. That got Deander Navarro. Good shot, but he shakes it off, or is in the process of shaking it off.
The 0-2 pitch.
And Bourbon is playing around toward right center. There's a lot of room off the line and in left center for Gordon if he can pull Garza.
Yes, he did. He did not check it up on the slider. So with 2 out, let's check out our Farmers Insurance picks to click tonight. Jim Angio, my director and crew, Uncle Lexi, Steve's going with Gillespie, and J.J. Shearer. And all the good folks at Ditka's and Lost Dunes Golf Club. Kind of Bridgman, Michigan, we're going to go with Beckham. So here is Rios. Takes ball 1. Alex at .268, 11 homers, 38 knocked in, 5 for 28 against Garza. That ball hit hard, but right at him, so that's a hang Wolfham and a 1-2-3 inning for Garza. That's the 1-0 score.
To you by Miller Lite.
And a reminder, great seats are still available for the season. Prices have been greatly reduced for all games. It's full of great matchups, promotional nights, and post-game fireworks. So tickets for all remaining Monday through Saturday games start as low as $7, and Sundays start as low as $5. So purchase your tickets today, WhiteSox.com or 866 Sox Game. Here's Soriano. Alfonso hitting at .256, 12 homers and 44 knocked in. 37-year-old veteran. That's Souvenir right side. The count evens at 1. Navarro on deck. Bueno. in the hole. If you're just tuning in, a 29-minute rain delay. Just off the plate, 2 balls and a strike.
This is about the time every year when Alfonso Soriano starts to really heat it up, and he has begun to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
There's the screwball.
Soriano looking back at Jeff Kellogg and asking him if it was a strike.
Tries to come back with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he just turns that one around for a double. So the leadoff man aboard.
Last thing you can get by Alfonso Soriano is a low fastball. He's been a low ball hitter for a long time, and nothing's changed. His 22nd double of the year, and he rifles this one into the corner.
Here's the switch hitting catcher, Deanna Navarro, hitting at .291, 8 homers, and 19 driven in.
When you're out of the race at this point, you ask your guy to hit the ball to the right side in this situation, first run of the ball game?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I really believe in that. I believe in playing, unless you got Will Myers up there.
Miguel Cabrera, you wouldn't ask to go to the right side?
Well, he'll do that anyway on his own a lot of times because he can hit it 450 feet to the right side. It's like Sammy when he was with the Cubs. We had a big game right here in this ballpark, and I love Sammy. Don't get me wrong. You know, known him for a long time. But it was a tie ball game, leadoff double, and Sammy did not try to go to right field. He popped up to left center, and it was a bad play. And I said at the time, only because of the fact he can hit the ball halfway or 3/4 of the way up those bleachers out there in right field.
True, and did many times.
But the more you play baseball 101, it's the age-old thing. Good fundamental baseball. Get in the habit of doing it. Our club last year really played well in that respect. You know that. We led the big leagues in defense. Outfield play was spectacular, not overthrowing cutoff guys. We've already overthrown probably 5 to 8 times more cutoff guys already this year than we did the whole season last year.
And up until about the last 2.5 weeks of the season, they were executing offensively as well.
Yeah.
Then it just all went away.
There he goes. Nobody paying attention. That's one thing we got to work on right there.
Alexi had snuck behind Soriano, and if Santiago was looking, he could have just stepped back off the mound and they would have had an out. You see him right there go behind him, but he's not looking. And Josh Fegley does the right thing. There's no reason to throw the ball.
Yeah, I used to get on AJ about that because the pitcher wouldn't even give him a chance and he'd still throw down there. I said, why are you throwing the ball down there? I said, if they're going to show you up by not looking at those guys, show them up.
Has no reason. Well, you can only get in trouble. You're not going to get him out. And now you got to deal with a hitter who from the right side is hitting .560, and Navarro with the infield back and a ground ball will score the run.
So trouble of brewing. Runners at the corners, nobody out. And that'll bring up Valbuena. The late insertion, Castillo, was originally in that lineup, and we said he's a little under the weather. So Valbuena, who has hit the ball well against us in the past,
Santiago looking out at Ramirez and pointing to him as he's the guy he's going to go to on a ball hit back to him.
Valbuena, .316 lifetime hitter against us with 5 homers and 14 big RBIs. There's a strike.
Amazingly, Valbuena's tied for the team lead in walks with 37. Now you can understand how Anthony Rizzo would have 37 because they pitch around him a lot. But Valbuena with a pretty good eye.
Oh, and 2 the count. Now Phil slightly to the left. Yeah, that runner at second base in that situation, especially with nobody out. And that's going foul. And he can just walk into third like he did. That's just bad baseball.
That's one of the things when they think back to this year that I'm sure Robin and his staff is going to address with his ball club, and I'm sure they talk about it quite a bit, and that's just field awareness. Giving a game 90 feet at a time, you wind up losing a ball game, especially if you play close games. We played a lot of close games this year.
Inordinate amount. Drop down breaking ball. And that's, from my standpoint, I'm sure you probably right there. From my standpoint, the most disappointing thing I am disappointed in is the way the club has played. But I feel bad for Robin and the coaching staff because we both know how hard they have worked on fundamentals, and the guys just have not. They've had bad years. It's just that simple. They've had really bad years. That ball, once again, hammered. He'll make the catch, and that stolen base is going to score. And it's 1-0 Cubs.
Sacrifice fly for Valbuena. His second of the year. Drives in his 25th run of the year. And the Cubs take a 1-0 lead.
So here's Barney. Darwin at 215. 4 homers, 19 driven in.
And yesterday broke a 74-game errorless streak. 71 this year, 3 last year, and he made an error yesterday.
All right, boys, take your time. You got plenty of it. But in retrospect, a gift run right there, and it's 1-0 Cubs. Chicago Medicine Comer Children's Hospital. Tickets start as low as $5, and parking is just $10. On July 28th, former White Sox slugger Greg Luzinski, the Bullster. The Bullster will be there on the concourse from 11:30 to 12, signing autographs for all fans. And the White Sox and Comer Children's Hospital teaming up to promote a healthy lifestyle and combat childhood obesity. So purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or 866-SOX-GAME.
And between innings, with two young players, you deal with it right away. And Don Cooper is talking with both Josh Fagley and Hector Santiago and how they should have handled that situation but didn't. And unfortunately, both Hawk and I this year have said way too many times that was a run that shouldn't have scored but did. And the Sox have to dig themselves out another early hole.
Yeah, another gift run that will go in the earned run column. So it'll be Dunn, Keppinger, Gillespie. '29-year-old right-hander Matt Garza, 6'4", 215 pounds, out of Fresno, California. And here is Adam hitting at .202, 23 homers, 57 driven in. After this game, in case for some reason you did not hear, we will be boarding our charter heading over to Tiger Town. 3-game series starting tomorrow. Jose Quintana against Justin Verlander. That game will be over WCIU. Wednesday, David Axelrod against Rick Porcello. That game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Finale of that series, Chris Sale against Sanchez, Anibal Sanchez. Ball hit sharply. Barney's got him. Garza's there. And that's the 4-1 put out.
Well, there's an example of Anthony Rizzo not really understanding where Darwin Barney was, because if he did, this would have been a very easy play to go back to the bag. He really makes a mistake here because Barney's got this ball all the way, and Rizzo can't get to the bag, but Garza there, knowing he's got some time, and he gets there a step ahead of Doug. He's a long way back at second.
Here's Keppinger. 246. 2 homers, 23 knocked in. He's 5 for 8 lifetime against Garza. Last 13 games, he is hitting .364.
We got a whole lot of guys who have put together good stretches. However, they're not driving in the big runs.
Steve, we don't have, and Beckham, you got to exclude him because of the fact of being on the DL with that surgery on the hammy. We don't have one guy who's had a good year up to this point, except pitchers. We don't have one guy who's had a good year.
Well, Alex started out very good, but been a long time since he's hit a home run. He's really cooled off.
Oh, he started off great, but up until this point. This might be the first time either one of us has been associated with a club that had not one guy have a good year, with the exception of the pitching staff.
No doubt about the frustration level of everybody involved.
Everybody in the organization. From the players, they're frustrated. Certainly to the manager and the coaching staff.
Alex Rios' last home run was on June 9th. And he got off to a great start this year. But that's a long time between home runs.
Yeah, he got off to an all-star type start. Full count.
Connor Gillespie hoping to hit with a man on, and Garza in the stretch.
That's into center field. Barbone. 2 down.
Well, in the 5th man voting in the National League, where a whole lot of people feel that Yasiel Puig will eventually win this, Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves is actually leading by a very small margin. It looks like a two-man race at this point. Freeman, who certainly has had a terrific first half of this season, if he does win it, it will be somewhat surprising. Not that he doesn't deserve it, it's just that with all of the publicity that Yasiel Puig has gotten, you figure eventually he wins it out.
That ball is hammered right at him. Must have hang with him. And that is 6 up, 6 down with a couple of line drives mixed in there. Bourbon, then back to the top of the order with Starlin Castro. Spelt hitting at 180, no homers. He's driven in 1. Jumped on that screwball. So the leadoff single.
Sepulveda is playing because the Cubs made a trade with the Washington Nationals. They traded them Scott Hairston. Now we saw Scott, and he looked like a pretty good player. And I know he's going to help the Nationals. He's pretty strong. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and he's got a lot of versatility. So Dale Swaim is down yet another player, as Jed Hoyer and Theo Epstein have started to unload their ball club.
Spell 5'9", 195 pounds. Got decent speed. 2009 stole 47 bases.
You always have to watch the bunt with Bourbon. He's real fast. And he bunts a lot. With that in mind, Connor Gillespie in on the grass and charging at third.
Takes a pretty good pitch right there. Didn't get it. Ball was a strike.
Menard's pitch tracks. This one could have easily been called a strike because it was in the zone.
Run on 2 hits, no errors for their guys. No runs, no hits, no errors for our guys here in the top of the 3rd inning.
Bourbon looked like he was going to lay it down, wanted to lay it down, but pulled the bat back And Santiago behind 2-0.
Chappelle 2 for 3 in stolen bases. .81 degrees as we speak. If you're just tuning in, have a 29-minute rain delay. Three and 0 the count. There's a strike. 3-1. Checking a couple of the scores for you. Top of the 6 in Cleveland. Tigers and the Indians tied at 2. Kansas City leading the Yankees 2-0. Top of the 5th in the Bronx. Texas leading Baltimore 8-3. Top of the 7th at Camden Yards. Full count. Let's see what Miguel's done.
He's got 90 runs batted in. I know that. That's pretty good.
The last guy we saw with that kind of RBI was Juan Gonzalez. Boy, was he a RBI machine or what? And there's ball 4. So the first 2 men aboard. Second walk issued by Santiago. And here's Castro. Did a little soft fly ball in the center field.
Would you have turned down $142 million for 7 years like Juan Gonzalez?
Dumbest deal in the history of baseball. Because the park was too big.
Well, his agents told him they'll move in the fences if you sign because they want to build their club around you, and he still turned it down and never got close to it again.
Now, what did he get? $10 million the next year from Kansas City?
$10 million, I think, with Cleveland with 2 deferred, and that was the highest contract by far he ever got.
Yeah. Yeah. Gonzalez had 157 RBIs in 1998.
Castro has not bunted this year, but has grounded into 8 double plays. That ties him for second on the club.
Yeah, Gonzalez 4 years in a row had 144 RBIs, 131 RBIs, 157 RBIs, and 128 RBIs.
Well, he was at the time one of the most destructive hitters in all of baseball. And he was huge. He got up to 280 pounds.
Really?
Yes. Yes, he did. One of the reasons why his back gave up.
2-1 to count. I know he was big. Outfield to the right, gap out there in left center. Hector pitched himself into a jam here with that base on balls to Bourbon after Chappelle let it off with a single. Taking a long time hooking up. Now
this has unfortunately been one of the trademarks of a couple of our younger pitchers, which is not a good trend, and that is they sail right along, working very quickly, getting their rhythm. Then they give up a hit or two, and all of a sudden they slow it down to a crawl, which stops you from getting any type of rhythm.
Back it down. and the antithesis to that, his last 3 starts have been Johnny Danks.
He's speeded it up.
He's sped it up, and he has had 3 good ones in a row. Prior to that, he was slower, and slowest. And that has popped up right side. One out.
Big out, and you look at Starlin Castro looking up in the air, maybe trying to look for some answers, because it's been pretty much of a season-long slump and a struggle for him. Might be one of the few times in his very young career, which has been a terrific career to this point, but one of the few times where he really can't find it and can't understand why.
So here's Cody Ransom. He popped up to Rios. Yeah, when a young player gets in that state of mind, that's when the coaching staff comes into play. Trying to lend their experience to help him get out of there quicker. Castro with a ton of talent. Checks it up.
When you go back over his career, first year he hit 300 in 2010. In 11 he hit 307. Had 207 hits. And last year 283 and 183 hits. But this year, nowhere near those numbers.
Well, I haven't seen him play that much, obviously. In fact, this is only the 4th time I've seen him play. Seen him maybe a couple of at-bats, while browsing through. But just by what you're talking about right there, I guarantee you he's not covering the plate like he did when we've seen him in the past.
No, and at first they tried to get him, you've talked about this a while, they tried to get him to see some more pitches, take some more pitches. Maybe the last thing you want to tell a young hitter who's had the kind of success he's had.
Well, young Latin hitters, you cannot tell that to. There's a breaking ball strike. Now, some of them develop that on their own. But for you to try to back them down and start taking more pitches, that's sudden death. You don't get off those islands by walking. You get off there by swinging that bat. Oh, we were talking the other day about Adam Jones.
Another guy, right? Yeah.
Same thing. Let that guy swing the bat.
Well, he's the one that hurt Mariano Rivera yesterday.
I love the play.
Well, they tried to go in back of Bourbon, hoping he would try to take a decent lead off first. Didn't get him, but it does serve notice that they're at least willing to do it. One of the few times we've seen that this year.
It is, but you're not going to sneak up on Dave McKay.
No, he's one of the best in the business.
Close pitch, didn't get it. Chops that one foul. Oakland leading Pittsburgh 2-1. Pirates 53-34. 19 games over. Oakland 52-37. back foot breaking ball. Hector making his 11th start, and this is his 22nd appearance. He's gone from, since he's been in a White Sox uniform, from a closer to a long man to a setup guy to a starter. He's covered them all.
And as a starter, a full-time starter this year, he's done a very solid job.
That screwball's popped up. Two down. Yes, he has. He and Dylan had a tough outing the other day down there in Tampa, but Dylan and Santiago have been terrific for us this year.
Quintana can hardly be too much better. He just, along with Chris Sale, he can't get any runs.
Well, he's already established himself now as he's here.
Brent Morrell talking with Dylan Axelrod. Johnny Danks, who's just been brilliant the last 3 times out, and his control has almost been perfect. Nice to see going through arm surgery and getting better and better with each successive outing.
So here is Rizzo. Struck out on a breaking pitch. Almost walked into that one.
So you mentioned the Pirates earlier, and they've got a leadoff hitter named Starling Marte, who's done something no other Pirate has done. 27 stolen bases, 32 extra base hits before the All-Star break. So speed and some power.
That ball into center field. That's a can of corn. So Hector, he's not afraid to pitch out of a jam, and he did. We go to the bottom of the third. We trail it 1-0.
It off, and in this case it's a large Polish with onions, and Len Casper and Jim DeShays are the beneficiaries of winning the bet. And I venture to say that if they do eat the whole thing during the course of the game, it's not going to be a great homestand for the boys.
No. It's going to be a very long ride back to the north side, as a matter of fact.
That's Bob Borwald explaining to him why they got the Polish sausage.
But right here, it's the bottom of the third. They have a run on 2 hits, and actually it was a gift run. Soriano led it off with a double in the second. And then nobody was paying any attention to him. He just walked into third base. Then a walk to Navarro. Sacrifice fly by Valbuena, and then a double play was hit into by Barney. But right here for us, it'll be the lower third of our order. Ramirez, Fagley, and to Cody.
Almost without exception, Garza's been throwing high fastballs. And eventually, our guys should be able to catch up with them. To this point, they haven't.
Been throwing a lot of first pitch strikes.
Last 24 games, Alexei's been hitting the ball well. Scored 10, 8 doubles, and hitting well over 300.
That's out of play. Right side at 94. So the count 0-2. Outfield well around to the right for Alexei. Jim Palmer, the 8-time 20-game winner for the Orioles. We played them in that series. We were talking about pitching high fastballs. Show me a guy who knows how to pitch up with a fastball, and I'll show you a good pitcher. And that's primarily what Jim Palmer was. Because there's a line drive right at him. So hang with him. We've hung out some ropes off Garza right at people.
Well, those high fastballs do turn into line drives, but unfortunately, you got to either hit them over their heads or drop it in front of them. And Jim Palmer parlayed that high fastball and that big, slow overhand curve into a Hall of Fame career.
8-time 20-game winner.
Well, he was an outstanding pitcher who happened to play on outstanding ball clubs.
Yeah.
And that's a part of it.
Sure it is. It's just like hitters. So here's Fegley. That ball hit high and deep. Stretch. They go back. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yeah. Number 2 for Josh. And this game is tied at 1.
I don't know if he's always going to hit him as high as he's hit the first 2 of his home runs. But these are towering fly balls that never seem to come down. Our Ford home run replay, it's another high fastball with high being defined as anything belt high or above. And our Ford home run replay ties up the ball game.
So here's to Cody. Blake takes that fastball up. Well, we had a pitcher here in years past, also pitched for Cleveland, who was a high fastball, high slider pitcher, and that was Early Wynn, Hall of Famer. But again, Palmer and Wynn knew how to pitch up. They knew when to pitch up. And you did after you hurt your arm.
But I better have him look for something else.
Well, you just didn't throw a strike with a fastball.
And you can't pitch up if you do that.
Castro. 2 down.
Early Wynn had something else, however, that helped him with his arsenal, and that is he wouldn't mind throwing one behind your head.
I speak from experience. I know that.
He won 300 games on the button with Jerry Walker saving his last game, pitching 4 innings. Gus Wynn pitched the first 5, but he was a nasty pitcher.
I played in that game.
Did he have anything left at that point? Not much.
Not much. He had pitched some really good ball games prior. That was probably the worst game he pitched, just going to 5, as you mentioned. And then Jerry Walker came in. He was like a demon possessed out there. I mean, he just was not going to give up that lead. And it's the hardest at one time Jerry Walker had great stuff, hurt his arm. But it was the hardest I'd seen him ever throw. And he was possessed in getting that 300 for Gus. Yeah, but Gus knocked me right on my behind in that game. First time up, he threw me a high slider, and I hit a bullet right back through the middle, right by his head. Bobby Del Greco tells me, he said, the next time you go up there, you better hang loose. I said, why? He said, because 2 things you don't do on Gus. You don't bunt on him, There's a breaking ball strike, and you don't hit the ball back through the middle on it. And I said, oh, that old man ain't going to do anything. I went up there next time, first pitch, my feet went straight up in the air, and I landed on my shoulders.
Different era.
Oh, yeah.
Different era.
Well, as he strikes out, but the home run by Fegley, his second. We'll go to the fourth, tied at 1.
From Taco Bell, Live Mott's.
We get ourselves a 1-1 tie here in the top of the fourth inning. It'll be Soriano, Navarro, and Valbuena. Soriano was doubled. Stolen a base. He stole third. Walked in there. Not even a throw. A gift. And scored on a sacrifice fly.
Good screwball on the first pitch. He had Soriano well out in front of it. Looking fastball all the way.
Another one. Little breaking ball there, action.
Pretty good crowd here at the ballpark tonight, considering that this is a makeup game. And it's not a weekend.
Ball gets away. And he's going to reach first base.
Going to go as a wild pitch. He wants it low and away. This ball is down and in. Gets by Fegley. And Soriano seeing it get away. Winds up with a strikeout, but winds up at first.
And here's Navarro. Yeah, this is a larger crowd than I anticipated. Especially with the way the weather was an hour before the game. Just a static lead by Soriano. And that is popped up. Fegley having trouble finding it now. Does. Now Connor, attaboy, takes charge. 1 out.
Good job by Connor Gillespie, as he realized pretty early that Josh Fegley didn't see it. This ball pops straight up. Fegley doesn't locate it, but fortunately Gillespie takes over. Calls for it. It's a much easier play for him, and he makes it.
So here's Valbuena. He just ripped one into right field. Thank goodness he did not get any altitude on it. But he did get the sacrifice fly. Flips a little breaking ball up there.
Hector was unhappy with himself with that little curveball because he got under it. It stayed up and he missed with it, knowing that if it was spinning at all, there's a good chance Valbuena was going to take it.
Change up strike. One out. 1-1 to count. Another one. 1-2.
Throwing that screwball to a lefty is something that a lot of lefties won't do. We saw Johnny Danks using the changeup against left-handers. It worked real well. And that time, the little screwball, which acts like a change with good movement on it, fooled Valbuena. Well, especially if Santiago is planning to stay inside and throw an off-speed pitch. Adam at first base has got to be careful coming off the bag so he doesn't slide out too far and have the ball hit behind him.
And that's what Steve Starr just alluded to. Just flipped another breaking ball up there. That's why it's really important for the corners and in the outfield to know when that changeup is coming or a slow curveball.
Didn't they used to always, the second baseman used to tell the right fielder?
I told you, I played right field. When I played with Red Sox, I knew when every changeup was coming.
And it's a lost art these days.
Oh, yeah. I knew every changeup that was coming. 2-2.
Well, being able to cheat toward the line or think about your first movement may have to be toward the line, that's a difference in 2 steps. That's the difference in a double or an out. You
can cheat mentally. You can get positioned. Hitter can't see how you're going to position. You just get positioned for the line. He gone. Breaking ball. We'll take it. 2 down.
Sweeping breaking ball that swept, well, let's call it a neighborhood pitch.
So here's Barney hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Yeah, that was a sweeper.
It swept over the right-handed batter's box.
Bottom of the 7th in Cleveland, still a 2-2 tie with the Tigers.
Cleveland is trying to split that series. They've got to win this game to split it, which would leave them a game and a half in back of Detroit, 2 games back in the loss column.
There he goes. Could not get the ball out of the glove. Josh had trouble, so he picks up his second stolen base.
Good pitch to throw, but wasn't handled cleanly. And so Soriano in there.
Little bit of a double clutch right inside the glove.
Gordon tried to lean on him with that elbow and kind of push that hand off the bag. Pretty good idea.
2 out. The 0-2 pitch. Screwball. A run on 2 hits, no errors for them. A run on 1 hit. That was a homer by Josh Fagley, his second. All right, good try. Tried to gas him up. 2-2. Barney, a little bit of a look-alike like Ray Knight, former infielder.
Well, if he could hit like that, he'd be of great value because he can really feel. Ray could really hit.
And he could compete.
Yep.
That ball is just hammered by David Bell.
Ray Knight was the World Series MVP in 1986 for the New York Mets. And
Billy Buck.
Yeah. One to be remembered, certainly.
Yeah, well, I love Johnny Mack, but Buck shouldn't have been out there. John McNamara, the manager at the time, terrific guy, good manager.
Buckner was noted for a good bat.
He had the bad wheel. He had a bad ankle. Good job by Barney just to get a piece of it. Just watching the Tigers in Cleveland a little bit on my iPad, and they had Bourne in a pickoff, and it must have taken 7 throws. So everybody screws it up. Not just us. And we worked on that play a ton this spring and last spring. Full count.
That's the way the Central shapes up. Things not going so well for our boys. The Indians pretty close. The Royals starting to play a little bit better. Twins losing tonight's game to a very hot Tampa Bay club in Tampa.
Boy, they play well. They give you 27 outs. That ball hit hard, but we got a man there. Cody. And that'll retire the side. I think across with no hits. There's 1 left. And it's tied at 1.
5-8. They're hitting 283, 281 or 241 for our guys. Runs per game, of course, a drastic difference. Home runs, well, the Cubs have really been doing it. Our boys just hit their 7th tonight. And ERA, you can see the reason why our ball club is 5-8. So this year, a rare year for the Cubs. I don't believe they've had a winning record in interleague play since 2007. But this year, they will be assured of it.
Beckham. Rios, says Garza. Taking a lot of time out there. It's hot. It's humid. When I say hot, it's more humid than hot. Muggy. Here's Gordon. He struck out on a check swing slider. Or cutter. And that ball is yanked foul. Oakland continues to win. They beat Pittsburgh 2-1. Bottom of the 8th in Baltimore, 8-5 Texas. Ate him up with that fastball on the fist. Sox Fan Zone, July 20th, first 10,000 children 13 and under will receive a White Sox replica batting helmet presented by Xfinity. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. There's Rios. He lined out to his counterpart, Dave Chappelle. Gap out there in left center. First pitch strike.
They played all the right-handers just about the same way, and that is as opposite field hitters, trying to close that gap in right center, creating the one in left and down the line in left.
Winner in that Oakland game, Bartolo Colon, now 12-3.
He will be pitching in the All-Star game.
As he should.
Well deserved with that record.
7 innings, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, ERA of 2.69. 40 years old. And throwing 95, 96.
And still pinpoint control, which he's had his entire life, I think.
And can work the ball.
Yep. A little tacky around the mound. So using the tongue depressor. There's been a lot of innovations in baseball in the last 50 years. But the tongue depressor, still used by pitchers low these many years.
Hit him on the fist, pops him up. 2 down. And you can send your comments on tonight's game through Twitter using hashtag White Sox Talk, and we'll read one back later in the game, and it just might be yours. Here's Adam. Grounded out 4-1. Hit the ball sharply. Barney playing him out there in short right field. And you got Cody Ransom playing on the first base side of second. He's the third baseman. Some of these shifts they put on, it's like Evan Costello, who's on first, and that'll get rid of that shift for that at bat.
Well, I like the idea of moving the third baseman into that role, leaving the shortstop at shortstop, because when you move your third baseman to shortstop, he's not used to covering that kind of ground, and it seems to defeat the purpose of the shift.
And you're moving 2 guys instead of 1.
Yeah. Well, Dale Swaim was a middle infielder. He understands it, so he used the shift. However, if Adam continues to do that, number one, that's open to him all the time as pitchers stay away from him. And number two, he can hit a home run that way, so why not go that way?
Yeah, when you can hit the ball as far as he can to the opposite field. So here's Keppinger. Fly to center. And that breaking ball up high. First and 30. 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th. That base hit by Adam. He is just 2 for 12 lifetime now for Matt Garza.
Garza's a high fastball pitcher. Adam's a low fastball hitter, so it's not usually a great matchup for him. But that time Garza got one probably a little lower than he would like, and Adam took advantage of it by keeping the inning alive.
Good eye. 3-0. Gillespie, who hammered a line shot right to Bourbon in center field his last at bat, which was his first at bat. And there's the strike. Short lead by Adam. Ate him up. So all 3 outs have come off the fist of right-handed hitters. Beckham got jammed. Rios got jammed. And Keppinger got jammed. No. Dave Chappelle, Julio Bourbon. Then back to the top of the order with Starlin Castro. Chappelle hit the first pitch he saw was a screwball. Hard for a base hit in the left field. There's that screwball.
Pretty good pitch, and kind of surprised that Sapelt was able to lay off it. Certainly looks tantalizing enough. He starts to go after it, but able to hold up, and it was off the plate.
One and two the count. A little tardy on that one. And it's 2-2.
Bourbon in the on-deck circle. Drew a walk last time up.
And that's another souvenir right side. You're just tuning in. They scored one in the second. And we scored one in the third. That was a homer by Josh Fegley. No walks. Full count. Pokes that one for a base hit into right field on the screwball. So the third hit for them. And a reminder, you can get real-time info, including pitcher gas gauge, stats, tweets with Sox, in-game live only at csnchicago.com. That's csnchicago.com, brought to you by Comcast Business Class. Here's Bourbon. After Sapelt single back in the third, he drew a walk. And he pops this one up. One down. There comes Castro. Castro, the 23-year-old shortstop, has gone out to center and popped up to right.
Any doubt in your mind at this time, if you were giving out the manager of the year, that John Farrell would deserve it, or you got anybody who's in the neighborhood of him?
I tell you, Steve, I just can't. If they had to be given today, I just can't imagine anybody else getting it. I mean, with that rebuilding and all that stuff and the player moves they made over the winter, you almost had a rioting in the streets in Boston.
And the bullpen difficulties?
Yeah. And between he and Juan Nieves, boy, that has been a terrific tandem in turning that pitching staff around.
Well, they're out at Safeco. Juan's done a great job. It helps to have a manager who was a pitching coach who understands what the pitching coach has to go through so they can work hand in hand, and that's what they have in Boston.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it looks like in the East. The Red Sox coming into tonight leading by 4.5 games over the Orioles and the surging Rays. And the Rays have just won their ball game. No surprise to us after seeing them over the weekend.
Well, they give you 27 outs.
You look at their ball club, you break it down, you see the superstar in Evan Longoria, maybe a great player coming up with Will Myers, but not quite yet. And the rest of their guys are nice players. Zobrist a good player, not a great player.
Right.
Boy,
he's
they
an
fit together
all-purpose
well.
player. Yep. That's poked into center field. Cody is there. Yeah, they have role players. And Joe Madden out of the box. And as we talked about yesterday, out of the box, his out of the box might be the norm coming up soon.
I just think he takes all the pressure off his players. He does have theme road trips. This was another one. This was a preppy team road trip on this one they're on now. But he says to his players one thing: I don't care what you dress like. I want you to run hard to first base. If you do that, we've got no problems. You hustle, we got no problems. The rest of it doesn't bother him.
Here's Cody Ransom. He's popped up to right and popped up to left. Yeah, there's a lot to be said in just that one statement. A lot goes into that one statement. I also like the idea that you hit one of his guys, he's going to hit one or maybe two of yours.
Well, that's been the case since he took over there.
There's no filing it unless the situation of the game determines it. It's going to happen right then. Outfield slightly to the right. 2 out and the 1-0 pitch. Oh yeah, nice one. Good movement. Let it work. 1-1.
Another screwball. Only this one started inside and then caught the corner. Good pitch.
And comes back with a breaking ball. So 2-1. Yeah. John Farrell right now has just been sensational.
And one of the other guys I think that a lot of people, if they just looked at it, wouldn't consider the job he's done, and that's Joe Girardi with all the problems they've had in New York. And they've had a lot of problems.
Yep. They have had that, and some of those lineups that he's put out there, just we hadn't seen that in the Yankees since back in the 60s, in the late 60s.
Well, you look at some of the names; they don't appear to be the Yankee lineup. Granderson has been out, then came back, then went out again with the same thing, a broken knuckle.
That's a fair ball. Went over the bag. Got to get to it, get it back in. So now we get a break right there, maybe. Fan interference, so the double. Been interesting to see if David Bell would have sent him.
See Gillespie well off the line, and this ball down the line, and it did go right over the middle of the bag, off the glove. Then Diaz has to sprint toward it. And with the fan touching it, it was called by Chad Fairchild.
So here's Rizzo, a strikeout and a fly out to center. Yeah, most of the time, third base coach, when they see that ball that close to that wall, they're going to send that runner. Because you never know what the carom's going to be, especially if it pops up and hits that fence.
Here's our AT&T U-verse multi-view. Decent speed on the bases. But their #1 run producer at bat.
with a 1-1 count. Pops him up, ate him up. Gillespie. Hector's not afraid to pitch out of a jam. We're halfway home, tied at 1.
Chris Davis.
Yeah. Talking about, as we were just discussing the Yankees and the job that Girardi's done up there, I'll tell you, he's done a terrific job. But right now they trail Kansas City 3-1 after 7 in the Bronx. Top of the 9th in Cleveland, still tied at 2. Steve told you Tampa Bay beat Minnesota 7-4.
And Max Scherzer, at least for the moment, won't go 14-0 because he's been taken out of that game. And the fact that it was resumed and Max had an extended outing, we will miss him, which is usually a good thing when you play the Tigers the way he's thrown this year.
Well, it's hard to say anybody in baseball has been better than Max Scherzer. And a lot of guys will tell you that last year as well, especially the second half.
His stuff is electric, and he averages in the top 3 in fastball velocity over the course of a season, which is a good trick.
We got Verlander tomorrow night, Porcello and Sanchez as that pitch is fouled off. Our guys last year were just raving about Scherzer's changeup. I mean, they said it was just a disappearing changeup.
He's a former #1 for the Diamondbacks. I think he was Mike Rizzo's last pick as a scouting director before he eventually moved on and helped put together that Washington national team that struggled this year but had a great year last year.
Well, the injuries they've had this year, they're just hard to overcome. Rizzo's just another story. There's another story. And for the most part, I can't believe how much under the radar he has been. He has done a terrific job.
Well, it's one thing to get the first pick in the draft. It's another thing to get the right player. And he got 2 no-brainers.
Watch out.
Mike Rizzo certainly paid his dues. He was with our organization early in his career. Made it up through, became the scouting director in Arizona, became the assistant general manager in Washington, and then eventually the GM.
The 0-2 pitch to Gillespie. Fights that fastball off at 94.
A nice souvenir. For a Cub fan with very good seats.
The 0-2 pitch. Tigers did not score in the top of the ninth at Cleveland. Tied at 2. Got him upstairs with some gas. That's just the third strikeout for Garza. But a reminder, you can organize a group outing of 20 or more for a Sox game during the season and receive savings off the individual game ticket price. You can enhance your outing by upgrading to our new Miller Lite Bullpen Party Porch, pregame patio party, Diamond Suite, or one of our other great party areas. So 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. Corners in close for Alexei. Takes down low. Alexei hit the ball sharply, hard, into right field, right at Dave Chappelle.
Garza has really kept it to a minimum of pitches so far. He's only given up the 2 hits.
There's another sharply hit ball. Get through. It will. So he will pull in the second. A 1-out double for Ramirez.
Going back to the high fastball. Eventually will get you burned, and there's another high fastball. Alexei was able to get on top of it. So he didn't pop it up. He hit it right on the screws, and because they play everybody to right center field, this one into left center turns into a double.
Here's Fegley. And Josh, of course, is the reason we're tied at 1.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replay. Back in the 3rd inning with 1 out. Hit another towering home run. This one to left center.
Navarro wants a little confab. 2-0.
In this day and age, where catchers do take a beating and they're asked to do a whole lot of things with the responsibilities that they've always had, which is knowing every one of their pitchers, knowing every one of the opposition hitters, and then as a hitter having to know all the pitchers in the league. If you get a catcher who's pretty decent defensively and can hit, that's a huge plus. There's a few of those guys around. Buster Posey, one of them, who splits his time at first base with the Giants. But Josh Fegley looks like he's got a chance to be one of those guys with some pretty big power added in.
He's got the catbird seat. Who does he remind you a little bit of at the plate? You played against him.
Well, I didn't play against him. One of the guys reminds me early in his career, but not later, was Pudge Rodriguez, because he was smaller and wider. Pudge lost a few pounds later in his career, when he found a personal trainer and all. But
Brian Downing.
Oh, no, well, yeah. Ryan wasn't a strong guy in the early years.
No, he was not.
Then he became a monster.
He became a terrific player. So that is out number 2. Yeah, but it's the way he sets up there.
Ryan stood right on top of the plate, got substantially bigger, and when he went to the Angels, became a huge offensive force.
All right, Blake. Do a job, buddy. Pick him up. Cody also grounded out to short. Just need you to pop one out there in the left center field or right center. One 4-0 for them, 1 3-0 for us here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Joe McEwing's going to run on everyone in this outfield. Now Soriano on occasion will surprise you by being a little more accurate than you'd think in left. These days the arm has lost a little of the strength. They will run easily on Bourbon and very much on Sapelt.
Now Soriano, I'll tell you, he can absolutely just knock your socks off out there with some of the bad plays he can make. But to a contending ball club, he's still got some value if they need somebody.
I think if anybody wants to make a deal, the Cubs would make it. I think they're going to have to pick up some of the money, but he can still hit. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah, somebody who needs a right-handed bat in the American League. Steal a base for you.
They got him at big money next year, and the Cubs realize, look, if they are going to move him, they're going to have to pay a good portion of that. And for the right deal, they would do that. Or maybe for almost any deal.
And a good take right there up high. Yeah, he can still hit. As you mentioned, thigh down, he is really dangerous.
Well, as soon as he went to the lighter bat and made that concession to the aging process, he was able to get the bat through the zone again. There for a while, it looked like his bat speed had significantly decreased. He was falling victim to everything low and away, couldn't stop his swing once he started it. But when he shifted to the lighter bat, as some guys will do, he became a force again. And now, well, we saw it against Santiago the first time up. He can turn around a pretty good fastball.
Two out, full count to Blake, to Cody. Off speed, had him off balance out in front, pops him off. Bourbon makes the catch. So the 1-out double by Alexei goes for naught. We're into the 6th, tied at 1. 10% back on the purchases in categories that you choose with the U.S. Bank Cash Plus Visa Signature Card. So apply today at any U.S. Bank branch. That is the U.S. Bank Cash Plus Visa Signature Card. Soriano, Navarro, Valbuena. 1-1 tie here in the 6th inning.
That doesn't sound too good. Some ominous thunder, preceded by a little lightning.
Screwball, and it's a 2-1 Cub lead.
We were just talking about him. And his 13th home run with his 45th driven in.
His 385th career home run.
A Ford home run replay. This one is center cut. Up and out over the plate. And pretty much a no-doubter.
So here's Navarro, a walk and a foul out to Gillespie. Gap out there in left center.
Ties Dwight Evans for 85th all time. 58th rather, excuse me, all time. Don't want to short him.
Pops it up. 1 out. Valbuena, sacrifice fly and a strikeout. Cubs now with 93 home runs. We have 81.
Seems like we've been talking a lot about teams that usually have much less power than our ball club. Out homering us this year as Matt Lindstrom starts loosening up in the pen.
That ball here get foul. It will. Yeah, we have.
Cleveland Indians for a while made a habit out of getting Seattle's players. Valbuena was one of them. Asdrubal Cabrera, another one. Shin-Soo Choo, another one. And then they go off on their own after that.
Omar,
another one, yes. Felix Fermin, apparently Seattle couldn't live without him.
Got that one in on him. Yeah, that Thunder, we're right on the edge of a cell. It's a little north of us, thank goodness. And that's top foul.
Nice play by Darwin Barney in the on-deck circle as he caught that one hopper.
Drop down, and it hit it. Drop down breaking ball.
Valbuena hit for only the third time. That one's not going to hurt him. Santiago hits his 8th man of the year. And here comes Robin, and he's going to want to make a change. Matt Lindstrom's going to come into this game. And Hector Santiago doing what every preceding left-hander had done, pitching a whale of a game without a lot of support. He will exit this, and we will step out and be back after these messages.
First 20,000 fans ages 21 and over will receive a White Sox Miller Lite cooler bag. A cooler bag presented by Miller Lite. Miller Lite, official beer of your Chicago White Sox.
Our 100th man is Matt Lindstrom, who comes into this at 2-3. The ERA 3.21 on for the 42nd time. He inherits Valbuena at first base. Valbuena doesn't have a whole lot of speed. He's tried to steal 4 bases. He's been gunned down 3 times, so odds are overwhelming he's not going to go. That doesn't preclude, however, the hit and run, because Barney does handle the bat well, and there's a big gap on the right side.
Got to get in on him. Every time we play the Cubs, Barney looks like just a real solid player.
He's terrific defensively. He's got a lot of awareness on the field. But this year the offense has really tailed off. And a lot of folks think he'd be a terrific utility infielder on a championship team because he plays a very good shortstop. And if your utility man doesn't play shortstop, he's not near as valuable to you.
Breaking ball strike. And the count 0-2. Well, those guys are worth their weight in gold, those all-purpose players.
Well, he could easily be, I don't know if he'd be that good, but he could be a Jamie Carroll type player for a long time. Jamie Carroll has been a good player for a long time.
He has against us. We know that.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Could not. So 2 down. And you brought up a good point as you look at this check swing that he could not check up. You brought up a good point a while ago about Soriano. The heavier the bat, obviously, the harder it is to check up the swing. And when you get some guys, even at the high school and college level, guys who have too heavy a bat, they're going to have a lot of check swing strikeouts. Whereas it's a state of mind. If you got a little lighter piece of wood or aluminum, whatever you're going to, or compost or whatever you're going to use, that ball hit high and deep. Blake is there. Makes the catch, but the home run by Soriano will go to the bottom of the sixth. We trail it 2-1. And visit grinds.com today. $31,552.
Well, that's a nice crowd considering the weather, the makeup game, and the way things have been going lately for both of these ball clubs. I think the crowd's terrific.
I don't think either one of us expected.
No.
31,582.
No. Oh, no.
So here we go. Top of the order, Diaza, Beckham, and Rios. All right, got another cell that's just we're on the fringe.
Well, last time we heard that thunder rolling in the background, we saw a home run hit by Soriano. Let's see if Diaza can just hit the ball hard somewhere.
Good swing. Alejandro has gone out to right and struck out. Extra innings now in Cleveland, tied at 2 with the Tigers.
Alejandro has got to lay off of that face-high fastball, that higher-than-high fastball that a lot of the pitchers in the league have been trying to use against him.
But getting back to the heavier bat versus the lighter bat as far as guys in higher level, say in college, it's a state of mind. And what happens if you find yourself with a bat that's heavy, you got to start mentally, subconsciously, you got to cheat a little bit more with it if you're not that strong. And if you get a lighter bat over the period of time, you subconsciously will not have to cheat, so you won't be chasing as many breaking balls down and away. So it's a double-edged positive sword. As he got him, good pitch right there, had all the plate.
Alejandro leans over the plate, sometimes loses track of that inside corner, but this one had great late movement. And it started out, it looked like it was going to be inside and then was pretty much center cut. 4 strikeouts, no walks for Garza. Hasn't used a whole lot of his big overhand curve because he hasn't had to.
Here's Beckham, a strikeout on a check swing and a grounder to second. No, if there are lots, what there are, if there are a lot of scouts in the stands tonight checking out Garza, they will be satisfied.
Well, I would think the only issue with him was durability. Could he go out there and make a number of consecutive starts and still maintain the same stuff? I think that's been answered. His fastball has been as high as 95. He's been pretty consistent with it, but his control has been excellent tonight.
Softly hit. Barney gets a nice bounce, makes a bad throw,
and getting
it goes into this thing.
It bounced straight up, and he's awarded second. That's got to be base hit E4. Barney picks it, but never gets a grip on it. You could see it. And it looks a bit like Rizzo might have pulled the glove back, maybe anticipating some contact, and it is base hit E4. So here's a guy who loses a 74-game errorless streak yesterday and makes errors in consecutive days in Darwin Barney. Watch it again, and it hits the heel of the glove. He never gets a good grip on it. He's trying right there as he's moving, but you can see at the top of his fingers he never got a grip. That's why the throw was errant.
That pitch outside to Rios. He is lined out to right, popped up to second. Pick him up, make it hurt. The only issue that I've ever had with Matt Garza never has been with his ability. It's always been with his mental posture.
And he would allow, especially in the early years, if you could rattle him, you could get to him and really distract him.
Umpire, get out. It will. That's going to get down, Beckham. Here's the throw. Now he's being held.
That throw was well off the mark. Joe McEwing doesn't know that. Gordon didn't run right away. By the time he did take off, Joe McEwing felt with only one out, he would hold him up, although Sapelt does not have a right fielder's arm. And you see the hesitation. Gordon Beckham doesn't know if it's going to drop, and that's why Joe McEwing held him up.
So a big break for the Cubs right there. Adam, 1 for 2. Curveball strike.
The infield without that exaggerated shift. Barney at the cut of the grass, but on the dirt of the infield. And Castro playing up the middle.
Count evens at 1. Yeah, in the past, Matt would even let a couple of blown calls by an umpire get to him. But he certainly has the ability.
I think that's one of the reasons why Minnesota moved him as quickly as they did, because he had the best arm in their system. There was no doubt about that.
And that's up high.
Garza has just 2 wild pitches this year.
Just a decent lead by Alex. That pitch right on the corner at the knees. So 2-2. 1 out, runners at the corners. He's out.
Adams started to run, but with first base occupied, there's really nowhere to go.
So a big strikeout right there.
Breaking ball. Nice stop by Navarro. And in a situation that needed contact, there was none.
It's up to Keppinger, who's gone out to center and grounded to short.
Navarro looking over in the dugout, and he wants to see what they want to do from the bench if Rios takes off. Do they want to throw through? I don't think so. So he gives a sign to the infield to tell them what he's going to do if Alex does indeed take off. That's Jamie Quick, bench coach behind Dale Swaim.
First pitch strike. Well, 6 ways to defend that play. And the 6 or you can come up if you're the catcher. If Rios takes off, you can fire it right back to Garza. That's 1. You can fire it to a second baseman coming in if that is a set play. You can fire it to a shortstop coming in if that's a set play. You can come up, fire right to the third baseman, or you can fake it.
Do you prefer any one of the 6, or does it matter?
I do, Steve. I prefer, in this situation right here with Keppinger, I prefer the Castro. As soon as he takes off, he comes straight in, running straight to the catcher.
Throw it to him.
And throw it to him. If you got a left-handed pull hitter, it's the second baseman. But there he goes. And they're going to throw 3 into center field. And this game is tied at 2. Yes!
I can't believe Navarro tried to throw him out at second base with nobody cutting across, because if he makes any kind of throw, Gordon Beckham's coming home. If that ball stays in the air, Gordon Beckham's coming home. And it didn't appear they were going to get Rios anyway. So Alex takes off. Navarro throws through. Beckham is coming. He's coming before that ball hits the dirt. You see him right there. He's going. He sees it going through. He's going to score. Terrific play. I don't like the Cub thought process.
I love it.
Well, yeah. For us, it's terrific.
Yeah. Pick him up. Don't stop now, boys. Breaking ball.
Double stolen bases for Gordon Beckham. The most important one for Alex Rios. His 17th of the year. This is where you might get a pitcher a little bit aggravated. Maybe he loses just a bit of concentration and leaves a fastball up in the zone. And gives up the tie game.
There's a chopper to hopper. And that'll do it. But we catch a big break. We'll go to the 7th, tied at 2. Receive the White Sox Wire email newsletter along with the exclusive ticket office, video sneak peeks, breaking news alerts, and more. Visit whitesox.com/blacklist to register today.
Hector Santiago will get a no decision in this one. In the game, he threw 5 1/3, gave up a couple of runs on 5 hits, walked 2, fanned 3. And the game is in the hands of Matt Lindstrom.
Well, Hector, as we talked about, is a tough young man who's not afraid to pitch out of a jam. And boy, has he really pitched outstanding for us this year. Outstanding.
Our 4 left-handers in the rotation together have just done a tremendous job. And seemingly getting better with each and every start as they get more confidence. They get better control. As they get better control, the outings are more consistent. But the offense has not been there for the boys. Consequently, a lot of no decisions or some close losses.
Barbone. A walk and a pop up to right field. Two and two the count.
Matt Thornton loosening up in the pen. That most likely would be for Anthony Rizzo. Would be due up 4th this inning.
Bell. Didn't want to do that.
Well, successful in 6 of 7 stolen base attempts, and when you walk him, normally you've thrown a double. We'll just have to see what they decide to do with Starlin Castro.
Well, you're talking about our 4 left-handers who, with Danks back now, the last 3 times out has just been outstanding. One of the best parts about that, the ages on our 4 left-handers are 28, Danks, 24, Quintana, 24, Sale, 25, Santiago.
It sounds like the makings of an exceptional staff for quite some time. And the beauty of it is you got John long-term. The other guys young enough to be very cost-effective.
Yes. Yep, that's the makings of something good. So leadoff walk as a rule will get you in a lot of trouble.
Josh had better heat up that shoulder because he's going to be using it here. This is a tough pitch to run on 0-1 because it's so easy to pitch out. If he doesn't run, it's just a 1-1 count, and you haven't fallen behind the hitter.
He's got a decent lead. And the count 1-1.
Dave McKay over his right shoulder. Looking at David Bell going through his set of signs.
Starlin Castro has faced Matt 4 times and he has 1 hit. A 2-2 tie, 2-5 and a big one for them, 2-5-0 for us. It's the first time we have played a team, I think, in the last 2 months that has more errors than we do. Breaking ball strike. Boy, that was a snapdragon right there.
Now, if he keeps that one in the zone, nobody's going to hit it. Castro going after, but you can see the body gives way. The hands are not there. And he wasn't close.
He gone. That's what he was talking about. And he gone. Strike him out. Pick him off. Double play. Yes.
Just quick decision making by Josh Fegley. And Adam is there to take the throw. It's right on the money. All he does is lay the glove down. And he's got Bourbon hung out to dry. He's way off the bag. Big play. Could turn out to be a game saver.
Cody Ransom, 1 for 3, a double. Yeah, under a different circumstance, you would have thought that would have been a breaking ball pitch out.
Yep. Well, you know, that's a terrific pitch out. Very seldom used these days.
It's almost extinct. That's into center field. So a terrific pickoff by Fegley after a terrific strikeout by Lindstrom. 7th inning stretch. We're tied at 2. And 5:52 on a makeup game on a Monday.
And you just had a look at one of the heroes of the night to this point, Josh Fegley, who has done just about everything right since coming up from the minor leagues. He's playing just his 3rd game. He's hit 2 home runs. He's driven in 4. Made a great throw on a pickoff. Can't ask much more of the young man, and the impression that he's going to leave with all these fans on his first game at U.S. Cellular Field.
Here's Gillespie. He is lined out hard to center and struck out swinging at a high fastball. 1-1 to count.
Bullpen up and going. Parker, the right-hander. Russell, the left-hander. And Parker has taken over the major setup role. You can see by that shirt there's only one dry spot on it. On a very muggy night. Garza to this point has gone all the way.
What do you think? Muggiest night we've had all year?
By far, yes. And I thought the rain would have cleared it out. It didn't work that way. Got muggier.
Start us off right here, Connor. Tigers have taken a 4-2 lead. Bottom of the 10th. And they have just won that ball. 2 in the top of the 10th. Bottom of the 9th in the Bronx. 5-1 Kansas City. Texas beat Baltimore 8-5 at Camden Yards. Holland over Feldman. And that's popped up. There's that high fastball again. That one at 95. And here we are on the muggiest evening of the season. Garza still pumping it up there at 95.
Well, he's always had the ability to go as long as he goes in the game without losing any of the velocity. He might lose a little movement, but the velocity is still going to be there. And just in case he does get in trouble this inning, the bullpen is up and going, but Garza hasn't shown any signs of weakening to this point, although he gave up a couple of hits last inning.
Here's Alexei. He's lined out hard to right, and he has doubled his 20th double. Fouls that one off. And that ball was tattooed into left center.
Lexi's had really good swings at Garza. Now I know he's waiting to hit his second home run. Be the first since the second game of the season. But with the swings he's taken, he appears to see Garza very well tonight.
He's been on him better than anybody else.
See if Garza leaves one up and Lexi can get on top of it.
Pulled a string on him. Good pitch. Had him off balance out in front.
Not going to hit that one out of the park. Not there. Breaking ball. Just a touch off the plate. Lexi was lucky just to foul it off.
Two and two. Ball ate him up. Rizzo. And a good play by Garza. Two out.
As Josh Fegley strolls to the plate, the home sweet home graphic, a home run in his first career at bat at U.S. Cellular Field. The young man did it tonight. Carlos Lee back in 1999 against the Athletics. Josh Fields against the Tigers in 06. And Brent Morrell against the Royals in 2010. It's a good way to get the fans on your side early.
Ooh.
That and a quick throw to first base to take a speed burner off the base.
While we have a moment, let's check out our AT&T tweet of the game from @SteveKidwell2. Says Josh Phegley has to be the best power hitter, and Biggs batting in the 8th spot. Well, @SteveKidwell2, a little early, but so far he's doing pretty well.
We'll take you back to the 3rd inning with 1 out. At the time, a 1-0 game, and now a 1-1 game.
Made a nice pitch on him right there, even though it was off the plate. Just still probably caught the plate when it went over it.
He's had 9 at-bats. He's hit 2 home runs and driven in 4 in 9 at-bats. That's pretty good production.
And that ball is just foul. That was close.
He was able to get on top of a high fastball. It was 93. It was inside and up. This shows you how quick the hands are. He's able to get on top of it, hit the daylights out of it, and just miss a double down the line.
And a good call by Fairchild. Just foul. The 0-2 pitch. Lays off that one. Kansas City has just defeated the Yankees 5-1. And a good job by Josh just to foul that pitch away.
That slider was low and away. It was on the corner. A terrific pitcher's pitch, and Phegley was able to stay alive. You see the little dot at the back of the ball? That's indicative of a slider thrown with a stiff wrist. And you don't break your wrist like you do on a curveball, and you can always see the dot on the back of the ball as it's going toward the hitter.
Got him off speed, and we'll go to the 8th in this 2-2 tie.
waiting to lead off. Matt Thornton comes into the game on for the 39th time. 0-2 ERA, 3.04. 20 strikeouts, 9 walks, 26 2/3. He's got Rizzo, Soriano, and Navarro. Navarro, better hitter from the right side. And nobody up in the pen to this point, so it's all Matt.
So Anthony Rizzo, who's never faced Matt. That Atlanta-Miami game, top of the 14th inning. Atlanta has scored a pair, leading 3-1. So here we go. 2-5-1 for them, 2-5-0 for us. As he takes up high, ball one. One and one to count. See Rizzo. It's not unusual as that's popped up left side. He loves to keep those legs underneath him. Connor makes the play, and that's out number one.
Explain what you mean by what Rizzo does.
Well, if Mike Cleary, our producer, will get us a shot of Rizzo standing at the plate. And he'll keep his legs and his behind underneath him. Watch him how he sets up. So we'll come back after this. There's ball one. A lot of guys will get their behind out. He keeps his behind underneath him, underneath his shoulders. There have been a lot of guys that do that, but the vast majority don't. See, his behind's underneath the shoulders.
Yeah, and almost pushing forward toward the inside part of the plate.
Right. It's almost like he's just punching the baseball. 3-0.
Well, he's got the 3-0 green light, and Matt had better beware of that.
He's 1 for 5 against Matt. And let's see here. And that's ball 4.
With Nate Jones loosening up in the bullpen.
Yeah, legend. These guys will be gone in 2 years.
So here's Deanna. He's 3 for 5 against Matt. And of the 3 hits, 2 of them stayed in the park. Yeah, that might be one thing that James Ralston, hitting coach, might want to tweak, fine-tune a little bit with Rizzo.
He's still young enough.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's got a chance because of his power to be a big difference maker in this lineup.
Oh yeah, he's got a big chance. That's up high. Yeah, it's funny because almost all the guys that I've seen come in who had that setup at the plate, they eventually changed it.
Soriano has 2 stolen bases tonight. Blake Parker continues to throw in the bullpen.
2-0 the count with one out. And the 37-year-old Alfonso Soriano on at first, who has 2 stolen bases tonight. Now has 10 on the season and 14 attempts. And that is chop foul. Soriano is high in stolen bases, 43. That was an 0-1 with the Yankees. Then the next year he led the league with 41. He picked up 41 with Washington.
He was a 40-40 man that year, I believe.
Yeah. And the count's 3-1. And that's in the hole for a base hit. So the 1-out walk, and now the base hit, and trouble a brewing.
Navarro still hitting over 500 as a right-hand hitter. He works the count to 3-1. He's looking fastball all the way. Takes it into the hole on the left side, and Don Cooper trotting to the mound.
Also a final now in Milwaukee. Brewers beat Cincinnati 4-3. Dodgers starting to play well. That Yasiel Puig, unbelievable.
He's something, and I do believe at the end he'll probably win the 5th man vote. Freddie Freeman has done just a great job with Atlanta. He was in first place coming into tonight as far as the fan vote. That ends on Thursday, by the way. And I think there's a whole lot of people that would love to see Puig. Just as many people think he hasn't been up long enough. But again, being the fans' game, if they do want to see him and they vote him in, then regardless of what most people think or a lot of people think, he deserves to be there.
Well, you just hit it right on the head. It's a fans' game.
It's a fans' game, absolutely.
In spring training, we said in spring training he's the best looking player we saw all spring.
The man got 11 straight hits.
So 1 out, 2 on.
I think we were both shocked. I mean, we had heard that he could run, but when he came in, Jake Peavy had a no-hitter, perfect game, I think, at the time. He singled what appeared to be a single to Viciedo in left field. We both look up, he's sliding into second base. At 6'3", 245, he can run like the wind.
That's trouble. Valbuena again. He looks over in that dugout like he said, I'm going to get him. So there's the walk. It's going to score. Now here comes Navarro. Here's the throw. And he's going to score. And it's a 4-2 Cub lead.
For a while, it looked like David Bell was going to hold up Navarro, who was fairly slow in getting to third base. He probably needs a little oxygen right now. But Valbuena with RBIs 2 and 3 tonight. 27 for the year. Crushes this ball in the gap. And he doesn't want to see the go-ahead, but he gets it. And then chugging his way across, and that's going to be it for Matt Thornton. So he'll leave this one with a 2-run deficit. We'll step out and be back after these messages.
July 20th. Fans can donate non-perishable food items or make monetary contributions at US Cellular Field when the Sox take on the Atlanta Braves. So Dominic's and White Sox Wives Food Drive to benefit the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
Our Honda call to the pen is Nate Jones. He's 3-4 ERA, .430 on for the 38th time. He inherits Luis Valbuena, who seemingly always is a one-man gang against our Sox. He's out at second base. Brought to you by Head and Shoulders. And it was Darwin Barney. Falls off a fastball. Gets a good hook. And can't check his swing. Yes, he did. The whiff by Head and Shoulders.
And that's cute off the end of the bat. As we said earlier, Valbuena against us coming into this game, a .316 career hitter with 5 homers and now 17 RBIs. And just 98 at bats. 97 at bats. And this is his first hit, 6 at bats against Thornton. Knocks it down, takes it up, got plenty of time. 2 down.
Occasionally pitchers believe the ball is hit a little harder back to him than it really is. Nate jumped up, didn't catch it, but did knock it down. And Barney is out for the 4th time.
Dave Chappelle. He's 2 for 3. Solid single and then a little bloop single. Just looking at these contenders here. And the way Garza's been going, we're talking about him being, and you mentioned earlier, a piece in the trade puzzle.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. And I was just looking, with the exception to me, with the exception of one club among the contenders in the American League, is there's a base hit. So it's a 5-2 Cub lead. So the book is closed on that. But of Boston, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, New York in the East, Detroit, Cleveland, Kansas City in the Central, Oakland, Texas in the West. There's maybe only one, possibly 2 staffs that Matt Garza they don't need. The rest of them all will need it.
Well, he would fit into most every staff. I don't think Detroit would pay the price for Garza.
That's the one I'm talking about.
They wouldn't pay the price for him because they got 4 guys that can really pitch. And the price is probably Nick Castellanos, and I don't think they'll move him. Maybe they talk about Garcia, maybe. But the other clubs you mentioned, they would be right there in line for a guy with Garza's talent.
Yeah, Detroit's the only club, and I can see that wouldn't be that interested. Now when you're talking about, you got 5 good ones over there.
With Porcello as number 5,
with Porcello
gem
as
last
5.
time.
Right.
Yes, sir. Especially with Sanchez back and healthy now.
Yeah, we're going to see him. We're going to see Verlander, Porcello, and Sanchez.
Right now, for me, I think Detroit is looking ahead and they've got to solve that bullpen situation. Not for perhaps a season, because I think eventually they take command and they run away and hide, but I think they're looking at postseason and what they can do to finally win the big prize, because there's no doubt Dave Dombrowski has brought them as far as they can. I think they want to win it, and it seems to me that looking at what they need, the only thing you could say would be one more piece in the bullpen.
Ball gets away. Well, if they don't get it there, it will be because of the bullpen. Because Torrey Hunter's been an excellent acquisition, big addition. The outfield play this year is compared on a scale of 1 to 10 last year. Probably at best, only because of Austin Jackson, probably at best a 5.5 or a 6. Now it's up to a 7.5 or an 8.
Well, Jackson's back and healthy. That gives them a tremendous weapon at the top, plus defensively. And Torrey Hunter's been hitting over 300 and driving in some big runs, and he's going to be 38 years old and hasn't shown much of a signs of slowing down.
Well, he's in one of the best places he could have gone to. Rejuvenated, playing with the best hitter in the game. You got a complimentary hitter and fielder, another complimentary hitter in Victor Martinez. Infante has been really playing a good second base for him.
And when you've got a center fielder like Jackson, it's a fairly short right field for him to cover, because Jackson can take the alley. That's in Detroit.
So the second walk. And here's Starlin Castro, as also Don Cooper making an appearance out there. Castro is 0 for 4 tonight. Fly out to center, pop up to right, another fly out to center, and a strikeout.
It's been pretty tough for the boys in the dugout. Mark Parent has got a new protege to deal with in Josh Fegley, to go with still a young protege in Tyler Flowers. They're going to be splitting the duties. I like the fact that Robin pointed out right off the top that Josh Fegley was not here to be the backup catcher, that they were going to split the duties and then see what happens. Now there's an open competition for the spot, and someone's going to have to jump up and win it.
Want to know the count. So a big, so far, 3-run 8th for the Cubs. They're threatening to sweep us in our 4 games with them this year. It'll be the first time that's happened in 15 seasons, 15 years. Count evens at 1. Atlanta scored 6 runs in the top of the 14th. They won it 7-1 down in Miami. So the Braves now 51-38. Phillies beat Washington 3-2. Lannon over Herron. We're going to get Lannon in that Philadelphia series. That plate coverage we were talking about, is Alex with a good pickup, got to it in a hurry on a hard hit single, and that'll load him up.
The difference in that pitch and the others that Castro has been missing by plenty was that this was a fastball. It was low and away, and instead of pulling off, he just stays right with it. And when he was collecting the 207 hits a couple of years back, he did that kind of hitting all the time. No chance at all to score on this one. Held up by Bell, and it loads him up.
But Cody Ransom who's 1 for 4, a double back in the 5th inning. So they bat around here in the top of the 8th. Just tuning in, we had a 29-minute rain delay. Yeah, it's a nice block by Fegley.
Ramon Troncoso loosening up in the pen. Thornton had problems. Jones has problems. Going into Detroit, the last thing that Robin wants to do is keep going into that bullpen.
And that ball is hammered. That's 2 more. So it's a 5 runs so far, and it's a 7-2 lead.
Ransom drives in his first 2 of the day on his second hit in what has turned into a nightmarish 8th inning. A 5 spot up there, and the hit parade continues.
Here's a man who started this inning off with a pop-up to Gillespie at third.
Josh Fegley going out there on instructions from the dugout to kill some time to allow Troncoso to get loose. Nate Jones has come in with very little here tonight.
Yeah, he's been really pitching well.
I think he's been terrific lately,
Yeah,
he hasn't been able to spot that slider tonight. And so in knowing that, the Cubs know he's a one-pitch pitcher, and they're looking fastball. So he calls to the pen. Ramon Troncoso will come into this one. Nate Jones will exit, as we will, and be back after these messages.
Baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers White Sox baseball with live audio, pitch tracking stats, breaking news, and video highlights. So MLB.TV. Premium subscribers can get At Bat premium features for free and watch live games. So download At Bat now on the Apple App Store, Google Play, Kindle App Store, BlackBerry World, or text At Bat to 31826.
Our Honda call to the pen is the third pitcher of the inning, Ramon Troncoso. He inherits base runners at first and second. 5-run inning. Troncoso 0-2, ERA 6.75. And he has been tasked to just get out of this inning and pick up the next inning probably along with it.
7-10-1 for them, 2-5-0 for us. There's first pitch strike. Anthony Rizzo is 0 for 4. Strikeout. A fly out to center. 2 pop-ups to third. Two on, 2 out, 5 in. Can't get that one. He gone, but a big crooked number goes up on that board, and we're in trouble.
Life. Back on October 2nd of 2010, Omar Vizquel at first base. He takes off. Low throw. Juan Pierre steals home. That's the last time it was done before tonight. And that's what happened tonight with Gordon Beckham stealing home and Alex Rios stealing second base. So the night is done for Matt Garza, who is the pitcher of record. Blake Parker comes in the game for the 14th time. He's 0-1, but a fine ERA of 2.45. Just 7 hits and 14 2/3. 16 strikeouts. And he has taken over the job as the #1 setup man for Kevin Gregg, who is their closer.
Well, if there's any scout in the stands tonight, which there are a few, and they were not impressed with Matt Garza, then they ought to check their credentials.
He was pretty good.
He was real good out there.
Pretty good.
So here is Blake. Cody has grounded to short. Yeah, he was impressive. The way he spotted his fastball very nicely. 8 right-handers up inside.
Didn't use that big curve the first time through the order. Started to use it the second time through, and along with his little slider cutter.
Ball into right field. And it's out number 1.
There's a few of the guys that, number 1, might be advanced scouting. Number 2, certainly scouting for would-be trades. And the good ones are worth their weight in gold.
Heart of baseball. Especially in the amateur scouting. Heart and soul of the game. Here's Diaza. This starting to level out a little bit, though, now at the professional level, because of all the decisions that have to be made for big money.
Well, the Cubs have one.
That's popped up. Catskills.
The Cubs' decision is second pick in the country, their first pick in the first round, Chris Bryant. There's 5 days left to sign him. The slot is $6.7 million for the second pick in the draft. He's a junior out of San Diego. He can really hit. A lot of people believe he's going to be a third baseman. Some believe he might convert to a right fielder, but everybody believes he's the best college hitter in the country. And right now he's holding out for overslot. The question is, where do they want to go, and how far do they want to go above slot to get him? And would he actually return back to school?
No, the way you put it, he's got to be a Boris guy.
Bingo.
0-1. Gordon, 1 for 3 tonight with a run scored. And that did not take long. 1, 2, 3. We're into the 9th.
Presented by GMC. On the show, we'll have highlights from tonight's game, plus sights and sounds from the Blackhawk Prospects camp. Catch all that more on Sportsnet Central tonight after postgame live, only on Comcast Sportsnet. And Addison Reed comes into the game to get an inning of work to sharpen up for that Detroit series, where we will fly right after this one is over.
So the Cubs send 10 men to the plate last inning, putting that 5 spot on the board. 7-10-1 for them, 2-5-0 for us. They have one home run. That was by Soriano. We have one home run. That was by Josh Fegley. And here is Soriano. He started off that 5-run 8th with a 1-out walk. Takes first pitch strike. And just slaps that one into right field.
A triple away from the cycle. I don't think he'll get an opportunity, and he shows you very good plate coverage. High leg kick. And takes a pretty good pitch. Turns it into a base hit to right.
Here's Navarro. A walk. A foul out to third. A pop up to right. And a single. That was last inning. And a run scored. Make your plans to be with us tomorrow night. First of that 3-game set. Jose Quintana has popped up against Justin Verlander. And that game will be over WCIU. Channel 26. And then on Wednesday, Dylan Axelrod against Rick Porcello. On Thursday, Chris Sale against Anibal Sanchez. Wednesday and Thursday's game will be right back here on Comcast Sportsnet. So here is Valbuena. Big 2-run double and run scored last inning. 2-run double. Booked a 2-2 tie. Breaking ball over to the camera well. And out of the camera well. 0-2 the count. He gone. Gas at 94.
Some high heat. And he throws it by Valbuena, whose one hit tonight was the big double that untied it in the big 5-run 8th.
So here's Darwin Barney. He's 0 for 4. Takes that pitch inside. Rizzo, Barney, and Bourbon, the only players without a hit, but Bourbon has walked 3 times tonight. Dodgers leading the D-backs 5-0. That young man has put a spark in their behinds.
Puig at last look was 2 for 4. As his batting average still well up over 400. And if you're looking for one of the things that helped turn that team around, because it was going to be a dismal year, it is Yasiel Puig.
Foul right back underneath Steve. Well, he's giving Hanley Ramirez is starting to get that thing cranked up again, too.
18-game hitting streak, which I believe is his career high.
So Adrian is sitting in a beautiful spot.
Yeah, I would think so.
behind Puig and in front of Hanley.
And Kemp, who hurt his shoulder, apparently is ready to come back, so he's not hurt all that badly. That ball club with Clayton Kershaw, who's suffering the same thing some of our left-handers are. He's throwing unbelievably well, seemingly not getting a great deal of run support, but all of a sudden the Dodgers factor big in this, and they will make some deals. They got a lot of money to spend, and Ned Colletti will pull the trigger because he's been told by ownership, go get him.
Got a pretty good pitch to hit right there. Jammed himself a little bit.
This is slider, but it's up in the zone. Fortunately, he missed it.
Greinke on the bump, and besides being on the bump at the plate, he's 3 for 3 tonight. He's hitting .370 on the year.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, I tell you.
Well, you said he was a great shortstop.
Unbelievable. It was like a man playing with kids in high school. He was a Popka, and he wanted to be a shortstop, but the Royals wanted him to pitch. Big power, big power. In fact, I think you recall I said if he was playing shortstop for the Royals, he'd be third place hitter. Three for 3, hitting .370.
Well, as good as he was, I think he probably made the right choice overall.
Gillespie. So Barney chips in with a base hit.
First hit of the night. Just wide of third, just off Gillespie's glove.
Well, three base hits with an RBI. 3 for 4. Seven, 12, and 1 for the Cubs. 2-5-0. Now I'll tell you what, I'm going to catch hell for this. One of my good friends down in Orlando is a huge Cub fan. Call him Cub Man. He is going. You talking about wear somebody's behind out? He's going to wear mine out.
This has not been a particularly good run against the Cubs season series. They've done everything right. We've made some guys look exceptionally good that have not been looking all that good. They just did everything right in the 4 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had the numbers head to head earlier, and there was dominance in each and every one of the categories, and that team after tonight most likely going to be 9 under 500. They keep trading away players. They keep on playing a bit better. Dale Swaim knows that this is a rebuilding situation for them. They've looked great against our ball club.
That man picks up his 4th hit. And it's an 8-2 ball game.
If you could deduct closers' ERAs in non-save situations, most of them would be really good. But put a closer who thrives on adrenaline in a non-save situation, and invariably he's going to give up at least 1. And that happened to Reed here. 3 singles and 1 run so far.
Bourbon 0 for 1 with those 3 base on balls. Checks it up, fouls it off. Rockies leading San Diego 4-0, bottom of the 6th out at Petco. Nats leading the Giants 3-2, top of the 7th at AT&T.
Talk about hitting the wall. If San Diego loses this one, they will have lost 10 in a row.
Yeah, they got back to 40 and 40, 500. Matt Harvey on the bump for the Mets in that game. He's gone 6 innings, giving up just 4 hits, 2 runs. Posey, a 2-run homer in the first inning.
He was the 5th player chosen in the draft that we took Gordon Beckham with the 8th pick.
And that is popped up. They put one more on the board. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. We need a half a dozen to tie.
Park Nissan. Chuck Garfine and Bill Melton will try to explain this slide, bring you their take on the crosstown and beyond. White Sox post-game live tonight, right after the game on Comcast Sportsnet. So Parker, who had a very easy 1, 2, 3, 8, will go through the heart of the order here in the 9th. If this holds up, and it appears that it will, Matt Garza will run his record to 5-1. And as a piece of a deal, if the Cubs so choose, if they don't sign him to a relatively long-term deal, he's going to bring a lot in return.
Yeah, he will. So here's Alex. First pitch strike. Alex has lined hard to right. He has popped the second and singled and picked up a stolen base. That was number 17. 17 stolen bases in 22 attempts. In Seattle, Raul Ibanez has just hit number 22 on the season. He's 41 years old.
That's pretty amazing.
He's only 7 away from Ted Williams, who hit 29 at the age of 41. That's the all-time record for a 41-year-old.
Well, Seattle brought him back again because he's terrific for a young ball club. Been a rough year for them at 10 under 500, but what a job he's done. And for what they're paying him, he could be, out of all the free agent acquisitions, one of the best.
Line shot right. That's a hang with him. He's had 2 hang with him's tonight. So here's Adam. Adam 1 for 3.
And he won't be facing Parker, as Dale Swaim taking Parker out of the game, bringing in Russell. So as Parker goes out, Russell comes in. We'll step out and be back after these messages. There you take a look at the left-hander. 1-2 ERA and even 3. Left-handers hitting just 191 against him. Right-handers have crushed him this year. Dale Swaim wanting to protect that 6-run lead with an obvious thought to the concession stand.
I was just thinking that. I would like to see Adam hit one about halfway up that United sign out there in right field.
Well, he is 1 for 1 against him with a home run, so perhaps that's why he brought him in, give him some practice against Dunn.
8-13-1 for them, 2-5-0 for us. As he takes the low one away. If you're just tuning in, we'll check a couple scores for you. Detroit scored 2 in the top of the 10th to beat Cleveland 4-2. Kansas City 5, Yankees 1. Guthrie over Hughes. Tampa Bay beat Minnesota 7-4. Torres over Deduno. Top of the 9th in Arizona. Dodgers shutting him out 5-0. Greinke. 3 hits in that ball game. D-backs have only 2 hits. There's a strike.
The Dodgers are in second place. They've fought all the way back from the bottom. If they hold on, and you would expect that they would move to 2 games under 500, 3.5 back, and winners of 8 of their last 11 games.
As high pop up. Get out of here. He stays with it, makes a catch. Nice play by Navarro.
That's good concentration, because that went through a lot of fans' hands to get down to where that glove was. Time now for the Avis Super Slow Motion Replay. Navarro with good concentration puts the glove down. It avoids all of those outstretched hands, and he secures it and comes away with the catch. So we're down to our last out. Here's Keppinger, who has
Slide to center. Twice he has grounded softly to short. Good breaking ball from Russell. Three times Castro's going to get him, and this ball game is over. So we had a 2-2 tie up until the 8th inning when they scored 5. They added another one in the 6th, and this is in concert with what's been going on all year.
Well, just as soon as you think that it's a low water mark, it gets a little bit lower. As we drop to 34 and 52 en route to Detroit to face the Red Hot Tigers.
And let's check out our GMC player of the game. It is, who else? Luis Valbuena. He just kills us. Our GMC player of the game. So for my partner Steve Stone, our director Jim Angio, our producer Mike Leary, our associate producer Dave Ross, our technical manager Mark Harper, the executive producer Jim Cornell Jr., also for the mayor